Welcome to the Rockstar Lifestyle.
Before I tell y'all this story about how this past year has been the best and the worst year of my life, excuse the dot on my chin. You're gonna see it a couple times shining. It's just face soap that I put on my any kind of blemish on my face to shrink it and get rid of it. So if you see it throughout the video, I apologize. It's only face soap. I know it's there. Well, good morning, y'all. Let me drink some lemon water first before I get into this story to explain to you guys how this past year has been the best and the worst year of my life. Or if you want to read it the other way, the worst and the best year of my life. So this is the thing, you guys. October the 14th, 2023. Nope, we're going to go back one day. October 13th, 2023 was Friday the 13th. As you all know, for those of you who are superstitious, you know that means. For those of you who aren't, then okay, got it, get it, got it, understood. But because I'm one of those people that, when it comes to Friday the 13th, I don't play around with it. And I try my absolute best to avoid doing anything outside of my character on that day. So Friday the 13th, the entire day went smoothly. I stayed home the entire day, went to work, and I'd say next thing I know, around maybe like 12 ish. Yeah, around maybe like 11:30 that night, right before October the 14th. Okay, I got a message from one of my best friends, and she was like, "Girl, come on out, come to the bar. Let's have a couple drinks." I'm like, "Well, sure, you know, but I'm gonna wait until after Friday the 13th is over with." And as a matter of fact, I'm not even sure on whether or not I'm gonna come out because I'm more of a homebody a lot now. So I really wasn't. I was indecisive on whether I wanted to go out that night or not. And so I was like, I'm just sitting here, on my computer, just minding my business, just chilling, just like listening to beats and stuff, trying to come up with another song. And something in me was just like, you know what, just bump it, go ahead, just go out and have a good time, enjoy yourself. So I'm like, okay, cool. So that led to me, getting throwing some clothes on and just going out and going to meet my best friend at the bar. Well, she's one of my very closest homegirls. Um, and so I went and met her at the bar. So when I get there, you know, it was her and one of her guy friends. We were in there, having our shots and whatnot. And so next thing you know, after that, I talked on the phone to one of my guy friends that I was very close to then at the time, and he basically was like, I'm gonna come to your house, whatnot. We're just gonna chill, hang out, you know, listen to some beats, and possibly come up with another song. I'm like, okay, well, cool. That sounds great, fine. So I'm telling my homegirl that I'm getting ready to go, because he's getting ready to pull up to my house, and she was like, okay. Well, I'm just gonna go to your house then for a little while. I'm like, okay, cool. So we all pack up, leave around this time. By this time, it's maybe like I would say like maybe like a little after 2:30 in the morning because that's around the time the bar closes. So we end up getting to my house or whatnot, and um, I got a phone call from one of my other guy friends at the time, and he basically was just saying, what do you got going on? And I'm like, well, nothing. Just got home from the bar. What's up? I was like, I really wanted to talk to him. So like I was trying to not even gonna lie, I was trying to convince him to come to my house and hang out for have drinks or so that I could, try to shoot my shot. Anywho, so that led to me having to drive way up to Evans, Georgia to go and get him from his other house that he said was his other house. I said, okay, cool. So I go up there. Me and my best friend, we go up there, pick him up, and we came back to the house and we sat and chilled. He had some scotch, and so um, we took a couple shots here. And after that, to be honest with you, I was in a lot of pain, so I ended up taking some ibuprofen and muscle relaxer. Yeah, and so that led to me um, taking a half of a pain pill as well. And so with that, I ended up, still sitting and chilling and talking with everybody. And so that led to us having to go and drop him back off at home in Evans. So by that time, it was like maybe, I'm going to say maybe around like 5 ish in the morning when we all decided, okay, we don't really have anything going on, so we're just going to go ahead and go. So then we leave my house, and my homegirl's like, well, you know what? As a matter of fact, I'm tired and I gotta go to work. I'm gonna stay here. And once I wake up to go to work, I'm just gonna leave from here. And I'm just gonna ask your daughter to lock the door behind me. So I'm like, okay, cool. So me and him get in my car. I'm driving him home. By this time, we had already, been sitting around, and I'd say about 2 hours passed after we had our last drink or whatnot. And so around this time, it's probably like what, like maybe like say about 7:30, 8 in the morning. So I'm taking him home. And when we get to his house, he's like, well, I had a good time or whatnot, blase, blase. I said, okay, cool. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed yourself. But, you got to call me or something because, I've been trying to get to you. And he's like, well, okay, cool. I feel you. So we make plans after, for after that, for when he got off of work or whatnot the next day. And I said, okay, cool. So then the next thing I remember, you guys, literally, is pulling off from out of his yard out onto the street that is like his street. Like, say, this is his house, and then you pull off his street, and then you go to directly to a very busy expressway. Boom, way up there in Evans. So I pull out and I try to hurry up get in traffic because by that time, for whatever reason, on a Saturday morning, traffic was busy, but it always is up there in Evans. And so anyway, I pull out into traffic, and the last thing I remember, you guys, was pulling behind two cars at the red light. That's the last thing I remember until I woke up, and I still don't even know how long I was knocked out for, you guys, because I was involved in a wreck. And to this day, as far as the court system goes, and with the sorry behind lawyer that I had, um, that misrepresented me all the way around, and literally, um, I woke up to someone knocking on my car window. Now, just imagine you're sitting at the red light and you're waiting for the light to turn red behind the car, and next thing you know, you're like this. You're literally like this. And you don't know how you got like that. Okay. But you're like this. And you wake up to someone knocking on your window. And you wake up and they open the car door and pull you out of the car and walk you over to the side of the expressway, telling you to and send you down on the curb and telling you to sit there and wait. The ambulance is on the way. Okay. So I'm sitting on the curb waiting for the ambulance. I'm not sure what the hell just happened. I'm sitting there and I'm just looking at my car, and from my point of view, all I saw was the damage that was on the passenger side, which was like just like someone had scraped the passenger side of my car and knocking my window. I mean, not my window, my side mirror backwards. So I'm like, okay. Then I remember seeing a white car that was in opposite on the opposite side of the road in the opposite direction that was going, you know, the opposite direction of where I was going. So I see it sitting over there, and it looks like the uh, the bottom fender of the car has fallen off, and I'm guessing it's from the impact, right? So when I'm seeing this, and I don't see anybody else, any other kind of authority besides one police officer, and it was I want to say it was a black female officer. She was directing traffic. There was no fire truck. There was no other police officers. No nothing, you guys. But mind you, I'm sitting there waiting for an ambulance to come see about me to assess the situation. Since you made it this far, please don't forget to like the video. But I don't see the other driver of the car. All I see is the wrecker driver trying to get their car on the back of the wrecker truck. And I'm just like, okay, I'm still not understanding really what's going on. All I know is that I have a very sensitive and tender mark on my forehead, and I don't know how it got there, and I'm guessing that it came from the impact. And yet, and still, I still don't know what I was doing asleep at the wheel, right? So then, um, next thing I know, I yet still, guys, no ambulance pulls up. Instead, police officer pulls up, right? I'm like, oh, okay, okay. And he asked me, basically what happened. And I'm trying to give him my side of the story, let him know what I can recollect of the situation on what I think happened. Because all I know is that I have injury on my head. I woke up and I don't know how I was out sleep behind the wheel. And I don't know what happened. All I know is someone hit me, right? So I'm steady telling him this. And he's like, okay. But I had been drinking earlier that night. Of course, it was still on my breath. At the time, I wasn't thinking about the fact that I would be involved in a wreck. When I was taking this guy home, I just I knew that because of the fact that I was driving the way I was supposed to, I went there and I was planning on getting right straight back home. You know, and because it had been hours past since my last drink, I said, okay, I'm good. So yet to this day, I still don't know what happened completely, but I know for a fact that the only way that the court system is making it seem is the fact that it was my fault. I have to live with that. The so-called public defender that I hired, he didn't do any kind of work for me. He told me, promised me he was going to go and look for any kind of video footage to see if he could find anything, to see what actually happened that morning, early that morning. That was an early Saturday morning at around like 9:30 in the morning, guys. And I'm just like, okay, so I'm believing it. He never gets anything else. My point is, October 14th, after that wreck happened, that led me to going straight to jail. I don't know what happened. Someone hit me. No one's listening to me, by the way. Okay. It was two officers came and arrested me that day. I'm calling my mom and I'm telling my mom, like, Mom, something happened. Someone hit me. I don't know what's exactly what all happened, but I need you to come pick me up because I'm thinking I'm waiting for the ambulance to come get me, guys. She's frantic. She has my daughter with her. They're up riding up and down that expressway trying to find me. Me not knowing and them not knowing that they were taking me to jail. When I got to jail, I was so frustrated with the entire situation because I felt so mistreated. Like it was just unjustified how I was treated because I'm wondering like if I had been knocked out for one, I still don't know how long I was knocked out for. And if I was knocked out behind the wheel of that car after the wreck, and when I finally came to, I don't see anyone else that was involved but me. That means that the ambulance came and assessed them already and left me at the scene in the car knocked out. In my opinion, I feel like it's because of the fact that they said, well, they hit me. The other driver is saying that. But my thing is, I know for a fact, they tell me that it looks as if I let my foot off of the brake. At the red light, I'm at a complete stop. They said it looks like I let my foot off the brake and I ended up sandwiching myself in between two cars. And that's exactly what my car does not look like. But that's what they're, like insinuating in the wording. So this is what I'm dealing with, right? So when I get to jail, when I get to booking, I'm so, uh, you know, upset about the entire situation and how I was done wrong. And I wasn't assessed. I wasn't, my medical care, I wasn't given any kind of medical care. And so I was upset. I was mad. Of course, yeah, I was pissed. So the female officer who was booking me in, she's, I'm sitting here while oh, let me tell you too, while I'm sitting on the side of the road waiting for the ambulance to come, for whatever reason, at the time, me not knowing why at the time, I could not control my bladder. So I'm actually, you know, urinating on myself on the side of the road in my clothes. So when I get there to booking, I'm, basically explaining to her that, I, messed up my clothes. So, you know, I'm just giving her a heads up. So she's like, well, yeah, I know. The officer mentioned it and that we're going to go ahead and take you to the shower so we can change your clothes out. I said, okay. So when she takes me to the shower, um, she asks me to take my clothes off one by one and hand them to her. And I'm telling her, like, no, I would rather just take everything off at once and give it to you that way because everything was damp. She didn't want me to do it that way, so she took that as me disobeying orders. And the she said that the kind of look I gave her, and also because I was still pissed, and I'm just like, listen, this is how I'm gonna give you my clothes, and you can either take it or leave it. And she's just like, well, you're disobeying orders. I said, no, I'm just doing it the way how I feel like is best. So I took all my clothes off at one time and gave it to her. She says that I, for one, threw the matter. So when I took them off and had them in my handbag in a pile, tossed it on the floor. That was her way of saying that I threw the matter. Gotcha. So then she's like, you didn't have to throw those at me. And I'm just like, no one threw them at you. You told me to toss them over there on the floor. That's what I did. She said, I told you to hand them to me. Okay. Now I see why you take that as me throwing it at you. That's justified. So then she's like, and I need for you to turn around and make sure you shower. She's like, because otherwise, if you continue to disobey, I'm going to have to take action. And I'm looking at her, I'm like, you don't have a reason to. And you also got another female cop in here. You wouldn't do that. She was like, oh yes, I will. So when I go and turn around, she sprays the mace on the back of my head, you guys. Next thing you know, the mace hits my eyes. Mind you, standing in the shower. Nothing on. So when the mace hits my eyes, I turn around and I go walking towards her, begging and pleading her, like, can you please tell me what to do to get it out my eyes? It's in my eyes. She says that I charged at her. And that's why she made sure she um, put in an order for me to be on lockdown. So, yeah, that happened. And finally, I was able to wash it out of my eyes and put on, change clothes, put on the jumpsuit. And they went ahead and put me in another cell and left me there. By the time I woke back up again, another judge came in there and told me that basically, yeah, you've been ordered to be put on lockdown. You had an arraignment hearing or something like that, and I'm like, how? When I've been here asleep on the floor of this cell, and you're telling me I've been in an arraignment hearing for me to be ordered to be put on lockdown. So I have a no contact order. I can't call anyone. I don't have any kind of privileges or anything. I'm just like, wow. And so also that also led to me being put in my own cell by myself. So when they take me finally to the back, to the pod that I'm in this pod by myself, and I'm just like, wow, how did I even get here? Like, this is so unfair. And I'm just sitting there just crying. Cause I'm like, I don't get it. No one still has given me any kind of medical attention, y'all. Okay? No one still gave me no medical attention. So, long story short, um I started talking to the same female cop who ordered the lockdown for me. And she got to finally know who I am and who I was as a person, and seeing that I wasn't that kind of person. So then once we got to know each other a lot better and got on a better page, she started helping me out with, being able to um, let me get a pencil and paper and write down the phone numbers to people who I needed her. I asked her to please call my family and let them know what's going on, let them know where I am, and mainly check on my daughter, because she doesn't know where I am. No one knows where I am. I didn't even know where I was. And that was 8 days. I was there 8 days. I called my best friend. You know, I finally got them to call someone to call my best friend for me, one of the inmates, and she did. And she gave, she relayed the message for me and let her know where I was. And I gave her like my information to go ahead and come and bond me out. So after that, y'all, I know this story is probably taking a long time, but it was, I had to tell you guys all of the details, right? So after that, finally my best friend comes in and bonds me out. And once I'm home, my daughter is ecstatic, she's crying, I'm crying, because that I couldn't take that. Like, that was a long time for me being from my daughter, in years. And so after that, I ended up, having to wait till I went to court for it. And when I went to court for it, pretty much they gave me another DUI charge. That led to me having to be put on probation. And I have to deal with that now, which is fine. I don't have a problem with that. I'm awaiting my arraignment hearing, which was in like February. So it was actually February 22nd, as a matter of fact, 222. You guys, I can't make this up. Then we get to the arraignment hearing. That's when they said that, okay, yeah, we're giving you a certain amount of time, until July 18th before you come back. And then we're going to let you know what your sentencing is. Because I told them that I took it on a bench trial, because I felt Like I was unjustly done, treated, right? And that also was me giving my lawyer time to be able to find any kind of footage that would be able to corroborate my story. So July 18th comes around and they say, okay, well, we don't have any, your attorney doesn't have any more information for us. You don't have any more information for us. And basically, it's your second DUI. Um, we're gonna put you on probation and you have to abide by all these other regulations as well. Community service and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, fine. No, as long as there's no more jail time, that I don't care. So then after that, I'm just like, well, how in the world? What was the purpose of me even getting this public defender when he didn't defend me at all? He didn't. He pretty much just agreed. And so after that, since then, I've been going on, starting my journey of sobriety. And because I drank, and also because, at the time I was taking pain medication as well. So with me taking that pain medication, me not thinking, because they're like, okay, I'm like, I know they had to, I had to do urine tests for the alcohol, of course. Me not thinking of the pain medication, but then I said, okay, well, you know what? At the same time, that might not be a good idea. But because I had been taking it a couple days before I had to do my first urine test, it showed up. So that led to me having to go back to court. They're trying to revoke my probation for that. That's really what jump started my sobriety journey. Because from that day on, when I told them that was the last day I took a pain pill, um, that marks exactly, let's see, um, 2.5 months ago, right? So then I go to court. They're trying to revoke my probation. I'm thinking that I'm probably going to have to go back to jail. And they're probably going to put me in jail for a while because the lawyer that I tried to hire, he told me that he was not going to be able to represent me because I'm looking at significant jail time. Never gave me a number of what significant could be. And I never asked because the news was already so dramatic, so drama, so traumatizing for me to find out. Because all this time I'm thinking that, okay, as long as I could pay him, as long as I have some money to take with me to pay all my fines, then I would be good. You guys, the thing about it, with all this happening between February 22nd, when I had my arraignment, to July 18th, when I had my last court hearing to be sentenced, my mom passed. And you guys, this is a sensitive part for me, so excuse my tears. May 6th, my mom passed away. The thing about it, I went to my mom's house the day before. It was Cinco de Mayo. And I was looking forward to Mother's Day because I went and got my grandmother's name tattooed on my back as a tribute to my grandmother for Mother's Day. Then I went and please don't forget to like the video. If you made it this far, please don't forget to like the video and subscribe if if you find my story interesting. Then I went and purchased a ring that looks exactly like one of my grandmother's rings that she had given to me some years ago, before she passed. And so I was going to my mom's house to go and show her the tattoo, surprise her with the tattoo and the ring. And so me and my daughter and my best friend, who got me out of jail, She, um, I asked her to go over there first because I was working. I was at work. I was here at work. And I'm calling my mom and we have this thing where whenever we hear an ambulance go by, my mom and I would call each other to make sure that each other's okay. So by the time my best friend got over here, I hear the sirens going, and I'm just like, oh Lord, let me call my mom and make sure she's all right. So I'm calling my mom's phones. I'm calling all three of her phones, and she's not answering any of them. And I'm just like, this isn't like her, So then I have my best friend drive me around there, and my mom didn't come to the door. She had packages on the front porch from I think Walmart or somewhere. She had ordered from somewhere, and so I just automatically just jumped through the window. She had an air conditioner unit that she had in the a window unit, and so I pushed it through the window and I climbed through the window into the house. That's when I found her. And when I found her, what's crazy is that my mind didn't want to believe it, and so I literally, she was sitting down, slept down in the bottom of the shower, and I sat her up, and I tried to shake her and telling her to wake up and like don't do this to me right now, please don't do this to me. And I'm looking at her face, and you can see that she's, gone. And yet, and still, my mind wasn't trying to accept it at the time. So, um, it made me completely forget that my best friend was outside the door waiting for me to, let her know what's going on. And she's like, Brianna, what's going on? What's going on? So I'm just like, call 911. My mom is gone. And she's just like, oh my God. So I'm like, call my sister, let my sister know. And so on and so forth. That happened. So with me dealing with that, y'all, and my birthday is July 20th, for me to deal with that all the way and have to still be worried about having to go to court on July 18th, 2 days before my birthday. You can just imagine what all I've been going through since then. So, I decided, you know, once I got sentenced with the probation and everything, after that, and with the scare of me going to jail, going back to jail, that's what started my sobriety journey. Pretty much what's been going on now. And with me celebrating October 14th, because that means that I finally made it a year since I've been to jail. And I'm still home. I haven't been in any kind of trouble, you guys. Like, thank God. I've been doing the right thing. I've been doing it right. And I feel like God has been blessing me for all of my hard work and my fasting and my sobriety. Like, because He sees that I'm actually genuine and with trying to change myself as a person, as a woman of God. And so He's really been rewarding me with my sobriety and with the fact that I'm so serious about this. And so, with that date coming back around, it really was a milestone for me. I was a milestone because that was a year since I went to jail, since all this happened, and I'm also celebrating my sobriety, right? So another thing why I say that day is so significant is the fact that I went to the emergency room this yesterday. I've been having chest pain for the past 6 months, right here. Don't know why. It just all of a sudden just came. But after the wreck, you guys, I had like a knot right here in the middle of my chest that I didn't know about. Like, it was just, by the time the day I got home from jail, I noticed it just there in my chest, and I would have some of my homeboys that came over. I would have them to feel it, and just to see that, to make sure that I wasn't tripping. So I'm like, okay, well, I don't know. It's not. It had to have came from the airbag deploying and knocking me out, right? So then I'm not thinking anything of it. It's causing me a little bit of discomfort, but that's it. So with me dealing with this pain that just started just out of the blue, and because I was still taking pain medicine here and there for my pains, so that would explain why I would only feel the pain in my chest on and off. And once I started my sobriety journey, that's when the pain came on, and it was just ongoing. It did not fade. It has been severe the entire time since I've been sober. And I'm just like, where is this pain coming from and why? So, like I said before, that led me to going to the emergency room. And with me going to the emergency room, the first time I went last week on the 21st. And I was joking around saying that, it was probably, it's just my chest wall because, I have gained some weight, so I'm guessing that I've gained weight here too. And so the doctor just ran with that and said, okay, yeah, and that's got to be what it is. After they've done an EKG and a chest x ray and done blood work to make sure that it wasn't a heart issue. Because it wasn't, and I knew it wasn't because my blood pressure has been fine. I don't even have high blood pressure. You get what I'm saying? So then um, I'm like, okay, so they give me some kind of medicine in an IV, and it doesn't really help. It kind of smoothed over the pain, but it never got rid of it entirely. And next thing you know, I fall asleep. I'd say like an hour and a half later, I wake back up and realize no one has came back in my room to let me know anything. So that's when I press the nurse call button. They give you on the bed. Nurse comes in there and I'm just like, well, I haven't heard anything and I've been here waiting. Like, no one's came and told me anything. And I'm still hurting. So she's like, okay, well, let me go get the doctor for you. So that's when the doctor comes in and tells me, okay, well, yeah, we found that there's nothing wrong with your heart. Your heart's just fine. 9 times out of 10, it's probably just chest wall inflammation. And we're just going to give you a prescription for that. And it's like a NSAID. So it's like a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory medicine. So I'm like, okay. So then she said 9 times out of 10 is probably because you have gained weight up there, but we're going to go ahead and also put on your discharge paperwork that you our recommendations for doctor's offices you can go to and follow up with as a primary care physician. I said, okay. So leave there, go back home, and for like the first 2 days, I'm like, okay, I'm good. Steady taking the medicine, steady taking the medicine. Anytime I get a flare up, and I'm just like, okay. Then it got to the point where I'm taking the medicine too often, and I'm just like, why is it that this pain is coming back, and why is it that it started getting even more severe, back as severe as it was that led me to the emergency room in the first place? At this point, yesterday morning, I couldn't take it anymore. I said, you know what? I'm going to go back to, I asked my sister first, but she said, yeah, make sure you go to the ER. Go to the same ER and let them know that you've been there already a week before and you have no change in the pain. I'm like, okay. I go back to the same ER. Let them know I've been here a week ago. Pretty sure y'all still got my blood work in there. I'm pretty sure y'all still got my x-rays in there. Y'all still got everything. So that led to them going ahead and redoing everything again. Finally, when they call me back, I get a different doctor. And I made it my decision to, because the first time I went last week, it was around like early in the morning. This time I decided to go wait until after like 12, 2 o'clock to go. I got this doctor to come in, and he just like, I call him my knight in shining armor, you guys, because I promise you, he has made such a significant difference in my life to this day right now, because right now I'm not in any pain. See how I can take a deep breath? This used to hurt so bad, y'all. It hurt so bad to the point where I could feel the pain in my chest here, right here, all the way through to my back in the same area, like in my shoulder, right there in where the shoulder blade is. It's like a shooting pain, like someone takes a knife and just goes straight through. And that's how it felt. Whenever I did this, lifted my arm, oh, hell no, I could not do that. It was too painful for me to endure. So, and I'm explaining everything to him, and I'm telling him because I Googled it this time, and I was like, look, I really feel like I have a fracture in my chest. That's got to be what it is because that's what it feels like. Because I've dealt with chest wall inflammation before plenty of times, and that's not what this is. This pain is 1,000 times worse. On a scale of 1 to 10, what? How would I rate the pain? It's a 10. So with me explaining all this to him, he's like, "Okay, I hear you." I said, "And I was in a car wreck a year ago, and the airbag deployed and knocked me out. I had a knot in my chest. I explained everything to him, like all my symptoms and stuff, and what happened." And he was just like, "Okay." He said, "You know what? It sounds like that might be it. If that is true, I'm gonna go and look into everything. I'm gonna look into the X-rays they did last week and the X-rays they did today, and see what's going on. It could be that I might have a fracture that was there that's healing." So he goes and he looks into it and he says, "I'm going to give you some different kind of pain medicine, ibuprofen and a steroid, and see if that helps. And I'm going to go look and read and look at all your x-rays and see what's going on." Because I went to the bathroom and came back. 10 minutes later, y'all, he comes back in my room and says, "Yes, Miss Leverett, on your left side, your ribs are curved perfectly like they're supposed to be. But on your right side, where it's supposed to be curved at, it's more flat. It's more like a straight line. It's not, it doesn't match your left side." He said, "Yes, Miss Leverett, it looks as if you have a fracture in your chest that's healing. And that's what's causing your pain." Y'all, when he said that, I said, "Oh my God, I finally got the answer, y'all, that I've been looking for." Because this pain is so painful, y'all. To any of y'all who've ever dealt with any kind of chest pain, I know it doesn't feel like a heart attack. I'm going to say that it didn't feel like it was anything heart related to me, in my opinion. It's painful. I can't turn my head certain ways. I can't lay down. Any way I lay down, y'all, if I lay on my side, either side, or on my back, or even on my chest, it hurts so bad. It's hard for me to sleep. I wake up like every 2 hours because I'm in so much pain. And there's nothing I can do about it. And I wake up and it's like I wake up whimpering. You guys, another bit of history about me. I don't mean to keep going on and on about this, but I just wanted to give you all my story because this is real. Um, October 14th caused this fracture that I've been suffering from all this time, not even knowing that it was there because I did not receive any medical treatment in the first place, y'all. And because I was in jail when I got out, I was just so focused on trying to get me another job because I lost my job because I was in jail for too long. And I just put it out of my mind to even worry about trying to go get medical treatment because I was already being accused of being the one who caused the wreck in the first place. And I didn't have any medical insurance to go and see about it because I had lost my job. So, another little bit of history, y'all. My mom, when my mom had me, um, I was a big baby. I was 9 pounds, 15 ounces. And because I was so big at the time when my mother had me, the doctor literally ended up breaking my collarbone while pulling me out of my mom. And never told my mom until like a week later, and she's wrapping me in a blanket and I'm just whimpering, just like just whimpering every time she tries to wrap me in the blanket real tight. And so my grandma told her, like, go take her back to the emergency room because something is not right for her to be doing that while every time you wrap her. That's when they found out that the doctor broke my collarbone. So with that and this fracture now, so I'm not really sure how the collarbone is supposed to look or feel because mine has always been abnormal. But this is my collarbone. This is the top of my collarbone on both sides. As y'all can see, it's not level. So this is what I've been dealing with. So like for this one to be further down, I don't know if this is how my collarbone is supposed to be, or if this is how my collarbone is supposed to be. This is also the side I have the fracture on. Having said that, you guys, if you made it this far in the video, I really appreciate it. And thank you so much for sticking around and hearing my story. But that's why I said today has been a significant change and difference and influence for me. It's been a remarkable day and discovery for me, and God finally gave me my answers with what's going on with this pain, y'all. And I'm just so glad because I have been suffering for so long, y'all, to the point where my sister's wondering if I'm having heart problems, if I'm having a heart attack, and I don't even know it. Y'all, it's really been something. Since you made it this far, please don't forget to like the video. If you made it this far, please don't forget to like the video and subscribe if you find my story interesting. I'm gonna post more videos like this about just to give you a little insight, a little history, a background about what my channel is really about and why it says it's Rockstar Bree Lifestyle, because it's my life and how I'm trying to maneuver through it and deal with it despite any obstacles that's been thrown my way. With God's help and God's grace and God's mercy, God is doing it. And God is doing it. And if it wasn't for Him, I wouldn't still be here, you guys. Because He's the one who kept me alive in that wreck. Thank you so much for listening to my story. If you all have any similar stories or feel like you can relate, or if you have anything you want to say about my story, comment in the comment section and let me know. Leave a comment and let me know if you guys really appreciate this story and me opening up to you about it. Hashtag everyday sobriety. It's the best feeling in the world. Thank you for listening. I love y'all. Rockstar Bree out.
Welcome to the Rockstar Lifestyle. I'm Rockstar Bree. I'll show you around.